Hi, I'm Pete Zelinski with Gardner Publications. Harry Moser is the founder of the Reshoring Initiative. It's an organization aimed at documenting the savings from manufacturing domestically. Manufacturing in the United States using suppliers like this one, G&G Manufacturing in Cincinnati, Ohio, where we're standing right now. Harry, what is the Reshoring Initiative and what is it doing?
Well, I'd add one thing to your explanation. In addition to documenting the savings, we help other companies document the savings they will achieve. So we provide examples and we provide software so that companies can calculate for themselves how much they'll save by bringing some of the work back to the U.S.
Talk about total cost of ownership. Why is that an important concept?
Total cost of ownership is important because it helps the companies make a more sophisticated, a more accurate decision on their reshoring, offshoring decision. It helps them avoid just deciding on the basis of price, instead analyzing all those other what are often called hidden costs, the cost of the carrying cost of the inventory, the travel cost to check on the supplier offshore, the cost of intellectual property risk, the opportunity cost because they can't deliver because the pipeline's too long. So the total cost of ownership lets them get to an apples-to-apples comparison that compares all these things so they can make one good decision.
Do OEMs understand that there are these hidden costs in addition to the upfront costs they see, or are they waking up to that?
Waking up, but still groggy. So they've got a lot to learn. The surveys that I've done and other people have done, independent organizations, show that about 60%, so the majority, use only rudimentary calculations. They might look at price, maybe duty and freight, but they ignore 20, 30 other costs that I think are important. And then these surveys show that they miss 20 to 30% of the cost. And if you miss that much, you cannot be consistently making the right decision.
What can an independent manufacturing business, a business like G&G Manufacturing, do to pursue the kind of work that's coming back to North America?
To use our tools, we'd recommend they pick up the total cost of ownership estimator on www.reshorenow.org and then use it so when they're discussing and negotiating with the customer, they try to get the customer to think total cost of ownership rather than just price. But in addition, there are things they can do in terms of being responsive, in terms of developing the best automation so that they'll be generally more competitive.
Can you give some examples of work that you've seen come back to the United States?
Three of the most prominent cases by big companies. One is GE, an appliance part in Kentucky, having brought back a significant amount of appliance manufacture, very well publicized. Caterpillar in Texas bringing back excavators from Japan, and National Cash Register in Georgia having brought back ATMs. In that latter case, National Cash Register, NCR now, described how it was so important to get the engineering and the manufacturing close to each other so they could innovate together and be more responsive to the customer faster.
What key points should manufacturing businesses be stressing to their customers and prospects?
The suppliers, meaning like job shops or contract manufacturers like this, I'd say need to talk to them about total cost of ownership. They need to talk to them about the cost characteristics within that, the quality implications, the lean implications, the impact on compliance, staying certified, staying regulated, the impact on inventory, strategic impact. There's a whole range of these things that the big companies say they believe in, but don't always practice. And if enough small companies encourage these big companies to do that, together we can get it done.
You mentioned a total cost of ownership calculator that the Reshoring Initiative has. What is that and how can people get it?
It's a fancy spreadsheet. It's again at www.reshorenow.org, and I think it's also going to be on the accessible through the Gardner Publications or Modern Machine Shop website. But basically the user goes in, answers a series of questions, and then the spreadsheet calculates the U.S. total cost of ownership, the other country total cost of ownership, and then describes what those costs are now and projects them for 5 years out into the future, which is advantageous because you see that for most of these developing countries, the wage rates are going up at, say, 20% a year, and their currency's going up, which is rapidly driving their total cost of ownership up, while the U.S. is staying relatively flat.
What can manufacturers do to help the Reshoring Initiative?
Well, the big companies obviously can can adapt the total cost of ownership concept. The small companies can encourage them to do so. Both can use our library to see cases where other people have brought back and then use that as a benchmark for themselves. They can send in to me, or for example to Modern Machine Shop, cases where they have successfully reshored. Because one of the reasons that everybody offshored is everybody saw everybody else doing it. And now that we're starting to get more visibility on reshoring, the more that the boards of directors and the big company presidents see that everybody's reshoring, then they'll just say, well, maybe we should start doing that too. So I'd say, start doing it and report your successes so we can get more publicity for it.
Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. There's a lot of them. Pick up the information at the website. Send in your cases. Think about the impact of this. If it's close for the big company and it's within a few percent, get on board, because costs change as the wages change in different countries. It's going to be the right decision, and in addition, it's the right decision for your community, for your country.